hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times.
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a crafty Christmas DIY video for you where I put together 13 of the Christmas DIYs that I've made so far this year here on my channel, all into one crafting marathon. Hope you enjoy. For the first one, we're going to use 2 of the clear ornaments from the Dollar Tree. As you can see, these are not the small ones. These are the larger ones, and I got 2 clear ones. I'm going to frost them with the Rust-Oleum frosted glass. It comes in a spray like this, and it's so easy to use. It's just like spray paint. So I want to be able to do the top and the bottom. It's kind of easier to stand them on the top of it there where it has a little bit of a neck. So I'm just going to go ahead and spray that in first. And it doesn't take very much of this. You're just going to want to try to get an even coat on it. I wanted the glass to be frosted so it looks frosty, kind of like a snowman, which is what we're going to be making out of this one. So I'm not going to do like a 3-part snowman. I'm only going to do 2 to make it a little bit stable, more stable, and allow it to stand up. So I just go ahead and spray them all over with that. I love using it. When it goes on, as you can see, it starts to frost a little bit, but as it dries, it frosts really well. See the difference? That's why I wanted to go ahead and include the drying time with you so you can kind of see what happens with it. So when you're spraying it on there, you might not think you have very much on there, but once it dries, it's going to be frosted and cool looking just like this. And the heat gun, no problems at all using that. I did notice this one had a little bit area that needed a little bit more, so you can just add to that. And this is going to be the head and the body of our snowman that we're going to DIY. I really like the clear ornaments from the Dollar Tree. They have so many possibilities, and this is one I hadn't considered before, but I really love it. Now I'm going to be using my Posca paint pens. I love these things. I usually get them on Amazon, sometimes at Target. I think Michael's even has them as well. They just work so good. I have them, I think, in every color now. I do have them linked in my Amazon shop too, because I love them so much. And I just do 2, circles for the eyes, 5 little dots of kohl for the mouth. So super easy. And then I'm going to switch to my orange paint pen and we're going to do the little carrot nose. So I just kind of sketch that out, kind of going off to the side, and then go fill it in with like little curved lines, almost like C's, to kind of make it look like a textured carrot. And I think that looks really cute. A snowman face is so easy to do. Now for the body of the snowman, I thought it'd be cute to do buttons. And so Dollar Tree does have these little jars of buttons. I just picked out 3 small black ones that I think are going to be the perfect size for this. Now I want to cover up the top of that ornament. So I'm going to have that be in a snowman boot. He's going to be wearing some snow boots. So I kind of want it a little bit off center there. And I just glue those going straight down where that is going to be one of the legs of the little snowman, if that makes sense. This is what I'm talking about. These are the little booty ornaments they have every year at Dollar Tree. I love these. I've made a Christmas tree gnome with these before. And it stands up on its own, so it gave me this great idea to try to make a snowman as well. It's got like the little pom-poms. It has a cute little red and white snowflake pattern. And this is what I was talking about. I thought I can hide the top of this ornament underneath the booty. So I'm just going to go ahead and hot glue that on. Now, one thing I didn't consider when I was first attaching these is that I should weigh them down because I want it to be bottom heavy. I do go back and remove these and add some pebbles to it. So I would definitely encourage weighing it down because you're going to want it to be, heavier at the bottom so it doesn't tip over. I don't know what I was thinking with this, but I just went ahead and hot glued on the second one. I don't want them to be like straight flat. I kind of want them to be off to the sides like this. So it kind of looks like the snowman's trying to learn how to walk in snow boots. I thought that would be a cute look. And so they're kind of going off to the sides a little bit. Next up, I need some snowman arms. So I went out to the yard and tried to find some twigs And I'm just going to make them work. I want it to be rather small, and I want them to both have like little branching hands. And so I think this is going to work. They are a little bit different in diameter, which did make it a little bit difficult when attaching them, because that one is a little bit thicker than the other one, but I do want them to be about the same length, and I do want them to be different. Now, I've seen people do this before. I tried this with both of my hot glue guns, melting a hole in there because I needed a hole to be able to put my sticks in. I don't know why. Neither one of my hot glue guns ever worked with that. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the hot glue guns I have. So I switched to the drill. I picked out a smaller drill bit for the one that was skinnier, and then a larger one for the other side because that twig was a little bit bigger. And I was able to drill holes in there without any damage, because I thought it would be way more stable for the arms to be in the ornament a little bit so they won't fall off. I add a little hot glue to the hole that I drilled and just put one of the twigs right in there sticking out of the side. Snowman arms are so easy because usually they are just sticks, so this is perfect. And then I also want to add a little snow around the area, so you won't see like where I drilled a hole in there. I'm going to use like some epsom salt to make little like snowy areas around the snowman. I was inspired to make this DIY off of a snowman that I saw. Trying to remember, I can't remember who the creator was. She made hers like upside down. If I can find that, I'll include a link to that in the description of this video. But I want my snowman to be right side up. And so she had added like some snow to hers. I thought I could get like that snowy look like this just by using some school glue and some Epsom salt. So I just put little snow piles around the arms. And then I thought it would also be cute to do like snow around the top of the boot, just kind of covering any seams. It's going to give it that frosty look to go with the frosted ornament. And so I just put school glue down and just put some Epsom salt. And Dollar Tree has Epsom salt. I picked that Dollar Tree, that up at Dollar Tree as well. I just made sure to get like the regular kind. So I didn't want it to be like dyed any colors or anything like that. I don't know if they changed the colors up on those. Now for the snowman hat, I'm going to create it with one of these little paper mache boxes that I got at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. And I think it's a perfect size for a snowman hat. It's going to need a brim though. So I'm going to use some black cardstock from Dollar Tree, and I just tried to find something that was a little bit wider and a circle to sketch that out. I just used a pot. And then I can go ahead and cut this out. I always have like such a difficult time cutting perfect circles. So anytime I can have like a guide like this, it's going to help me out. It's still not going to be perfect, but it's going to be sort of round. And this is going to be the brim of the hat. And then this is going to be the top part of the hat. So I'm going to need to paint it to match. So I just use some black acrylic paint. This is actually the Dollar Tree, I think, chalkboard paint, but it is a great for any black. As you can see, it's super dark, just like the ink color that way you get, and it's super inexpensive. I always had a little bit too much paint on there, so I'm going to try to use that for the cap of it as well. I need to go around the sides. I am going to include like a little ribbon to go around his hat to dress him up a little bit. And so I'm just going to go ahead and start with the lid part. This is what I'm going to use to go around the brim of the hat, the red and white gingham ribbon from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to cut out a piece large enough. I think that's going to go really cute with his little boots that we added. And I just attached that with a little bit of hot glue. It's just about the perfect width to cover this part of it, the hat. And I was having trouble figuring out something from the Dollar Tree that I can make a hat with, and I think this turned out really cute. So that's going to be the brim, so I can just go ahead and attach the lid to that. The little round box is going to be upside down on top of the snowman's head. So that looks pretty good. I just went ahead and put it together. I did add a little hot glue on that so that it will all stay together. And we have our little snowman hat. Isn't that super cute? Now I thought I would put the top of the ornament into the hat so that will hide that part of that ornament as well. So I just kind of sketch out where that would be here on the brim of the hat. and I'm going to cut an opening for that. Now, one thing that I did is I went back and made this hole larger because I don't want it to sit on the very tippy top of his head. I want it to look like the snowman is kind of wearing the hat a little bit. So you might want to cut this part larger than you need. I just used a razor blade and kind of poked a hole in that. And I went ahead and added a little hot glue there and added the ornament to the snowman hat. And that's what it looks like at that point. I didn't like it very much, so I went ahead and pulled it off. That's why it's kind of ripped a little bit. And I'm going to cut the hole wider so that it sits down on his head just a little bit. Now, since that box is made out of paper mache, it is pretty easy to cut. It's just like cutting like cardboard. So I'm just going to cut it out a little bit larger than needed. You still won't be able to see any of those ripped parts because they'll be kind of hidden away in the seam there. And I think maybe just a little bit wider. I'm just using my heavy duty scissors to help me cut a circle. And I guess if you wanted, you could cut it even larger to represent like an actual hat that sits on there, but I think this is going to be big enough. I just put some hot glue around the ring again and sit my ornament in there. And it's still kind of on the top of his head, but I was happy with it. I think we can make this work. Just making sure that's glued on. And since I've added the little snowy areas around the snowman arms and his boots, I thought I would also add some here, a little bit of snow on the top of his head. I think Epsom salt just makes the perfect snow. It dries, it looks kind of like slushy snow. I really love the appearance of it. It's one of my favorite faux snows. I use it a lot in winter crafting. So here is his body. That's when I realized that I should have weighted down his booties. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull those off, and just using some Dollar Tree stones, you can use whatever you have. Definitely weigh down the booties before you put them on because it's just going to make him stand up so much better. I usually remember this step. I don't know why I forgot. I think I was just really excited to get going on this little guy. So I added stones to each one and then just reattaching the booty right where I had it before with some hot glue. And I had put some snow around that, the Epsom salt, and it still looks pretty good, but here on the front where it's super visible, I thought I would add a little bit more just to make sure you don't see a seam there. And I love the idea of the snowman wearing the little winter boots. Whenever I can craft with those ornaments from the Dollar Tree, I always try to. I think they're so cute for winter crafting. So now it's time to put our snowman together. I'm not going to use anything like physically to attach them. Since it's pretty lightweight, it's just a Christmas ornament. With a hat on it, I just use some hot glue and I glue the two plastic ornaments together. But I wanted to do all the hard part first before I go ahead and attach them together. That is kind of a final step. Now I do want a scarf to go around the neck of the snowman, and it's going to kind of cover up that seam a little bit. And I'm actually going to use these red washcloths that I get at Dollar Tree. I always try to go every aisle in Dollar Tree and find whatever craft materials I can use. And the washcloths and the towels actually makes really great crafting material. So I just cut one of the little sections like that. It's not quite long enough though, so I'm going to have to cut another one and make our scarf a little bit longer. I liked the color of this red. I think it matches well with the booties. And it's kind of like a material that you would see a scarf made out of. So now that I have two strips, I'm just going to attach them together with some hot glue to make one longer scarf. And this is going to I'm just going to tie this around his neck and give our little snowman a scarf. Super cute. He's got the carrot nose. He's got the snowman hat, buttons. He's got the coal face. I love him. The only thing really unique is the little snow boots, which I think is so fun. So I just tie that around his neck like that, where one end goes down the front and one in the back. And then I'm just going to trim them up a little bit to make it exactly the length that I want it. Now it's time to decorate his hat a little bit. I think it looks a little bit plain, so I'm going to add some Dollar Tree greenery. This one's a little too big. I love this though. It kind of looks like a snowy evergreen. So I just cut one little piece down into two. I can have it go like to each side like that. And that's going to look really cute on his hat. So I'm just going to attach that with a little bit of hot glue. I just wanted like a little bit of Christmas greenery, some red berries I think would look really cute on there too, since he has all the red accents. So this is just a bundle I got of pine cones and red berries. I love using that because it comes with all different kinds of different things that you can use to decorate winter DIYs like this and for Christmas. So I just cut out two of the berries. The only thing I don't like about any of the berries like that from the Dollar Tree is I find that they're often scuffed or they stick together and you see the white through it. But it's no big deal. You can always just use a paint pen and kind of go over it to cover up any of the red spots, but they look really cute for Christmas crafting. Now I thought it would also be cute to add some snow to his hat. So I do a little bit of school glue here just on one side and then have it dripping down the top of his hat to look like he's got a little bit of snow here too, to go with the snowy look. So I just add Epsom salt there and he is really coming together. I think he's so cute. I cannot wait to display him for Christmas. I still have all my fall crafts up and all my Thanksgiving crafts that I've made here on my channel. But we'll see how long it'll take. I'm going to have to get all my Christmas stuff out for sure. And he is my first DIY of the season. Isn't he so cute? I really love how the little snowman hat turned out. The little snowy touches, the frosted ornaments, and the little Epsom salt like snow in the little areas, I think really makes them look frosty and cool. And you can kind of see how the booties kind of go off to the side, kind of making them look a little bit clumsy on the snow boots, but I think he's super cute. Hey guys, are you enjoying today's video? If you are, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos do better here on YouTube. The next Christmas DIY, we're going to make a Christmas lantern. I'm going to make windows for the little Dollar Tree lantern that you see there with some of the flexible cutting mats. These are great because they're like kind of like frosted glass windows, right? If you put that in the different windows of the Dollar Tree lantern. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down 3 windows. Because I do want an opening in the back, I'm going to be putting a light in there. You could also use like a battery operated candle in there as well. But I actually end up using a Dollar Tree push light because it's going to be brighter to light up my Christmas design. So I just cut one bigger than the window that will fit in there, right? And I use that as a template to cut down 2 more. So I have 3 windows. And what we're going to do is we're going to decoupage the cutting mats to make a great Christmas print to go inside the lantern. But I wasn't happy with the gold lantern. I wanted it to look like wood. I thought that would be really pretty. And so to do that, I'm going over it with some, I think this is called Beachcombers Beige by Apple Barrel. And I am just distressing. As you can see, a little bit of the gold is shining through. I'm just working in one direction. And what I want to do is give it a faux wood grain. So I went ahead and did 2 sides of it, dried those, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other 2 sides. Now this is going to be the base color for the wood. I am going to go in there with a darker color to make it look like a rich, warm wood lantern. And I love the way it turned out. Now, if you wanted it a solid color, and again, you find one that's not quite the color scheme that you like, I think they also have these in black. You can always paint these, and I think it painted really nicely. So I made sure to get the ring there on the top as well. Now for the wood look, I'm using Antique Wax by Waverly. My bottle there has been spilled a few times, can you tell? And I am just distressing in the same direction to give that faux wood grain. I do that there on the side and also on the top. And it is really easy to do this. It's very forgiving. If you get too much somewhere, you can kind of spread it out. But I'm trying to use as little of the antique wax as possible on there. But I do want kind of a rich color. So I think this is going to look really pretty. And see how it gives you that wood grain look? That is exactly what I'm going for. Now, the only disadvantage is that it takes a lot longer for this to dry, the Antique Wax by Waverly, than it does paint. When you use it on wood, I find that it dries really quickly, but whenever I use it on metal or something like this, it does take a while. And it's the only thing that I have found that my heat gun really doesn't help speed up. So keep that in mind. You're going to want to let this sit because it will still be wet when you think it should be dry. But within a day, it will definitely be dry and you should be able to handle it. So I just went over all 4 sides, just as stressing. Also the ring, can't forget that. I want all of it to look like wood. And I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to try to dry it a little bit to speed up my crafting since I got lots of DIY crafts for you today, but I can start working on the windows as well too. So I found this tissue paper at Dollar Tree the other day with their like Christmas gift wrap and stuff like that. And I thought this would be perfect. I couldn't really find any Christmas napkins that I liked for this. And so I thought this pattern was really cute. It's bright red. It's got Santa Claus, Christmas trees, reindeer, very Christmassy. And I can just cover the little windows to the lantern with this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out enough to cover all 3 windows. And we're just going to simply decoupage this. Like if I were using a napkin or something like that, I think the tissue paper is going to work great. The only thing is you're going to have to make sure that you get a thin coat of Mod Podge when you do this because you don't want any wrinkling if you can avoid it. So I try to put it down and smooth it down, making sure my fingers are dry. I don't want to rip the tissue paper. It is thin. The first one I didn't get all the way over to the edge like that, but remember I cut it a little bit larger, so I think that you won't be able to tell. And here is our first window. I just go ahead and cut off the excess tissue paper on that one. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other 2 windows. It's definitely crucial to only do 2 because otherwise you're not going to be able to get in it to be able to turn your candle or your light on and off. And isn't this pattern so cute? I think it's very festive. It's going to look great with our faux wood on there. And we're also going to decorate the top of the lantern as well. So that's our second panel. And this would be great if you have some leftover tissue paper like this from Christmas. This is a great way to craft with it as well. It's like a gift for you too. So this is our 3rd window. And then I want to attach it. Again, mine wasn't quite as dry as I like, so I'm going to have to be careful with it. And I just put some hot glue on all 4 sides. Does kind of want to melt the plastic a little bit, but this part you have to be very quick with if you're going to use hot glue. I got to pop it in there and get it in there before my hot glue starts to set up. If you don't want to rush that step, you could just do 1 or 2 sides and then kind of go in from the front and do the other sides, but I was able to get it in there in time. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here with the other one. Very quickly go around all 4 sides and then pop it in there. Trying to make sure not to get hot glue on anything else in the meantime. Here is our 3rd and final one. Same thing, act quickly. You're going to do it all in one step like this. And then just push down on all 4 sides to make sure that it gets a good even coating. Now this is what I'm going to use to light mine up, the Dollar Tree push light. It's way brighter than the Dollar Tree battery operated candle, and so it's going to light it up a lot better, I think. Just going to touch up the ring there, and then I also want to decorate the top of it too. So I'm going to use some of the wired garland they have from the Dollar Tree. I just take a piece and like wrap it around. I do want that ring to stick up, and once I wrap it, it's going to kind of stick up on its own. So I just wrap that around. I love the wired garland like this from the Dollar Tree. It comes in these perfect sizes, and the wire makes it easy to mold and do things like this with it. So I'm going to have another piece kind of go around here with a couple pieces kind of hanging down. I do have an extra piece that I cut off there, so I'll add that too, just to make the garland look a little bit fuller. And I think one more will do the trick and make sure that the top of it is standing up like I want to. So I just wind that around there again too, kind of arranging it how I like. And then I'm also going to use some of that Christmas greenery that we used before on the DIY to decorate this too. There are little pine cones on here that you can take off. And so I love the size of these. I think these are perfect for crafting. And this is just a pick from the Dollar Tree from the Christmas section. I just used some heat to get the pine cones off. They are glued on there pretty well. And then you have great things like this to decorate things with. And decorating the top of this is really going to make it look festive for Christmas. So I do a pine cone there on each side. And then I'm also going to do one, I think, in the front. I'm also going to add some of their like little red berries like this too. Just trying to figure out how many I need. I decided to kind of cut mine apart into some littler pieces so I can just attach what I want. So just attaching that with hot glue too. The red looks really good against the Christmas green. And I just put a couple of pieces of that in. And again, the great thing about those Christmas picks is that you're going to get pine cones, you got the berries. There's also like leaves on there and a little bit of extra Christmas greenery. Again, my berries were a little scratched up, so I touched those up with a little bit of paint pen. And then I like some of this greenery too. I think this looks kind of cool. So I cut down a couple pieces of that. We're going to have those kind of coming out from underneath the berries, hot gluing those to the top. And this lantern is almost complete. It turned out so cute. And it's the first time that I've used one of these lanterns like this by making windows for it. And I really love how it turned out. I'm going to go ahead and use that last pine cone and put that right there on the front. I think that's going to be the perfect final touch to our little DIY lantern. And I have built like lots of lanterns from scratch with Dollar Tree products. So I am really glad that they are coming with some pre-made lanterns like this, especially for us crafters. So here it is. We have our faux wood grain. We have the Christmas windows. So festive and fun. And I will try to show you how it looks lit up as well. The top looks really festive with all the Christmas greenery. This is what it looks like during the day. So it's super cute during the day too when you don't have it lit up. You have Santa like riding a reindeer. We have Christmas trees. And I love the faux wood grain. I think that really makes it look interesting. Now let me also show you what it looks like lit up. As you can see, that push light, very bright, so it illuminates the entire thing and makes it really bright and serves the purpose of the lantern. When I tried one of the Dollar Tree candles inside, it just barely lit up and flickered a little bit, but I wanted it to really shine. So another fun Christmas craft. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one as well. Now for the next one, we're going to do a reindeer and like a reindeer barn, kind of like something that you would see at the North Pole. So I picked up a reindeer sign from the Dollar Tree Christmas section and a house sign from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. And we're going to make that into a barn is my intention. Now I do want to kind of cover up the wood here on the base of our deer first. And I want to make him look really cool. He's got this red and black buffalo check, but I want to cover him in cinnamon. I think that will look really cool. The brown's going to go great for a reindeer. It's going to make it smell great for Christmas time. But I was worried the cinnamon wouldn't cover up this bright red pattern on here, right? So I go over the whole thing with just some real brown apple barrel acrylic paint first. As you can see, the first coat with a sponge on there barely gave me any coverage whatsoever. So I'm going to have to take a couple of coats of brown on there first, and that's going to give me a great background for the cinnamon we're going to add. I used cinnamon to craft a fall wreath with Dollar Tree squirrels, and I loved the effect. So I wanted to see if I could recreate it for a Christmas project, and I think it turned out really well. Now, once I get the paint on there and dry, I'm going to do some Mod Podge, and I'm going to go over the entire thing with Mod Podge. You could also use school glue for this. It's going to be kind of like gluing on sand. You guys have seen I've done that on many coastal projects. But you're going to need a nice coat of glue first. And then what I'm going to do is go on there and sprinkle the cinnamon on top. Now, this does make a big mess. I probably should have put something down below before I did it because it was a little messy. So keep that in mind. I just sprinkle my cinnamon all over, and you can get cinnamon from the Dollar Tree too to craft with. I just grabbed mine out of the spice cabinet to make it easy. And then I'm going to go over it with some spray glue. This is the one I'm using. It's a Gorilla spray glue adhesive. I usually use the spray glue aerosol cans like that from the Dollar Tree, but I've had trouble finding them lately. So I had to get some on Amazon, and I do like it. I think I have it linked in my Amazon shop as well, too, if you need some spray adhesive. I did notice that when I dried it, some of my cinnamon came off. So I added a little bit more Mod Podge and sprinkled more cinnamon on that area to try to fix that. And it is going to require several coats to get me a really even brown coating of the cinnamon all over the reindeer. So I sprayed it with the glue again. As you can see, that spray glue glues it from the top, so it's going to glue it down, but it also kind of changes the texture and the color of it as well. I noticed that the legs really needed more cinnamon, and the head and the antlers too. So I'm going to add a little bit more Mod Podge, and we're going to sprinkle on more cinnamon. And I'm just going to kind of keep adding cinnamon to it until I get a good coverage. So I just sprinkle that all over too. And then again, spray it down with the adhesive. And I love the way this project smells. It's so cool. I'm going to make this a standalone sign using that stand that's on the reindeer. But if you wanted to make this a hanging sign, you probably could. I thought the legs, the antlers, a couple areas needed a little bit more cinnamon. So again, more Mod Podge, more cinnamon, and then more spray adhesive. It's starting to look more uniform. I think one area here, the legs over here, maybe needs a little bit more. I'm really trying to avoid any of the white areas, and I want it all to be nice and brown. This is what it looks like. I think it's really cool. A little cinnamon reindeer. Just going to go ahead and remove the painter's tape, and we can start on our barn. Now, I know this is a house, but I'm going to show you how I convert it into a barn. This Dollar Tree wood signs are usually not very thick, so you can cut them. So I just use a razor blade, and I am going to cut the chimney off, and that's going to give it more of the A-frame, like barn shape that I want without a chimney. So I just cut that from both sides and try to trim it up a little bit to give myself a smooth roof line for this. Now I want to decorate this like this would be a barn at the North Pole, Santa's Village. And so I'm going to make it red, add some Christmas lights and greenery to it to make it really festive. Now, since I want to make it red and it's currently black, I know they have these in different colors. This was the only one I could find at Dollar Tree. It's going to need to be painted a little bit white first. Otherwise, it was going to be really hard to get that black to red because that black's going to want to show through the red and make it look dark. I want it to look bright red and festive, so I just go over it with some white acrylic first, using a brush to kind of get down into the grooves of the slatted boards. And then for the paint, we're going to use bright red acrylic, and we're going to go over everything here. I'm not going to paint the roof a different color, but I am going to decorate the roof, so that kind of gives it a little bit differing colors and make some definition for the roof. So I just go over the whole thing with the bright red, and then I also go in the different seams there with a brush. And you know, red is hard to get good coverage, so even though I did paint it white first, it is still going to take a couple of coats here to give me a bright red. So I just add another coat of red, and then I'm going to decorate this with some paint pens. Nothing crazy. I'm not going to add any words or anything to it. I don't think it's really large enough for that, but I am going to add some fun little barn touches. So I start with my white paint pen and a ruler, and we're going to make a barn doors on this. Now I would like it to be a little thicker, so I do a double line here of my paint pen. The other side of the door is going to be right over here to paint that on, and I want it to look like a traditional barn door. So we're going to do like the X shape on it. So I'm going to do the top of it like this, and I'm trying to not, mess up any of that fresh paint. So I do make sure that's dry, and then I'm going to go on and draw the X on here for our barn door. I thought about making a little window at the top, like with a loft, but I am going to decorate that with Christmas lights and stuff, so I don't think it really needs any more details. I think this is going to give me the barn look. I also went ahead and did the bottom of the door too to make that stand out. It's already looking way more like a barn. Now for the roof line, I told you I was going to decorate it with lights and greenery. So again, I'm going to be using some of these garland pieces from the Dollar Tree. I end up only using one of them and some of their battery operated LED lights. These are like the warm white ones, so they kind of have a little bit of a yellow tint, which I really love. They require 2 AA batteries, and they have, I think, 10 LED lights on there. And that's going to be plenty to light up the roof line of our little reindeer barn. So I'm going to pop the batteries in there, make sure it works, and unwind these. I'm going to then wrap that around the greenery, and it's going to look so festive and fun that we can light this piece up too. And I'll just hide the battery pack on the back. You really have to start right on these. I kind of got them a little bit tangled. So I'm just trying to make sure they're all straightened out before I start wrapping the greenery. And since this was wired greenery, it makes this part even easier. I'm just going to wind it around until I get all the way to the end. I noticed that about 5 of the lights it took for one piece. And so I'm going to double it up. So I switch it the other direction. And I wrap it again and do 5 more lights. So all 10 lights are going to be on that one piece of garland. And it is just the right size there for the roof. So I bend it in half. And then I'm just going to attach that with hot glue to the roof line of our barn. And what we're going to do is we're going to be standing the reindeer in front of the barn. And it just looks so festive together for Christmas. I always love crafting with like Santa, snowmen, but also reindeer. I think it's really fun. I'm going to, again, hide the battery pack here on the back. So I'm going to leave it where I can still change the batteries. I made sure to do that side up. But it's going to be easily accessible to be able to turn on and off. And you won't be able to see it back there on the back of our barn. Now for the second piece of greenery, I'm going to use that to make a little wreath to decorate the top of our barn. So I just need a piece small enough that I can make a little circle with. And we can just do a very simple wreath. And since this is like, at the North Pole, they would definitely have that decorated. You got to make sure that you kind of have the wire twisted. There, that looks good. I'm going to attach that with hot glue as well. Super cute and festive. I am loving this project so far. Now, I did want to add a few berries to that. I actually have these left over from the 4th of July. Sometimes I use some of the 4th of July things that I have left over for Christmas too, because again, you're going to get the same colors with that red color. So I just do a few berries and I'm going to attach it right here to the bottom of the wreath. Nothing fancy, kind of simple. Again, it got a little chipped there, so I just kind of touch it up a little bit with our red berries. And I think the barn is perfect. So I want to attach this to the front. This is going to also be standing up the barn. So I just add some hot glue here to the back, and I'm going to glue it on level with the bottom of the barn. And I think I'm going to center it here. I think that makes more sense for me. And then I did get a little bit of cinnamon on the base of that, but I wanted it to look snowy. So I'm going to add a snowy bottom to the reindeer anyway to make it look like he's standing in snow. To do that, I'm going to use one of the Dollar Tree microfiber mop heads. I love using these for snow for crafts. They make great snowy cover for like if you put on winter houses and stuff like that. I've used that from before with my gingerbread crafting. I love it. I cut out a strip here for the front that I can attach to the base. And then I don't have a lot of room behind the reindeer, so I tried to cut down a very thin strip of it. But if you go too thin on these microfiber mop heads, they kind of fall apart. But that's okay. I can just use the pieces and just kind of glue them down separately. I just want a little bit of snow to be behind them as well. And so I just cut that fluff down and glue it back there. And then I can attach that larger strip that I cut to the front for the front of the snowy area. So I just attach that with hot glue too. And they do like to shed when you cut them, so make sure you kind of get all of that off before you attach it to your DIY. But look how cute our little reindeer and barn turned out. I love it. It stands on its own, and it looks so cute lit up. Isn't that so festive and fun for Christmas? And it smells great too because it smells like cinnamon. And it looks really cool with the reindeer being all textured like that too, I think. And then, of course, our little snowy ground underneath. Really goes with the Christmas feel. And I love the bright red color of the barn. Hey guys, have you checked out my website yet? It's craftybeach.net. I'm archiving my DIYs over there that you can pin them to make them later by using Pinterest. Okay, for the next DIY, I'm going to use a Dollar Tree party hat and one of their like gnome stockings and reindeer moss. And we're going to make a Mossy Santa gnome. I love how this turned out. Now, I've been complaining forever that my Dollar Tree didn't have any reindeer moss. Well, all of my Dollar Trees have it in now, so I'm so excited. I had to stock up. I'm using one of the large party hats from the Dollar Tree. I just removed all of the tinsel from the bottom and the top. Don't need that. Don't need the little hanger to go around. But this makes a perfect size gnome or like Christmas tree. I use these a lot. Now, this is a very bright pattern on this party hat, so I am definitely going to have to paint it first. What I want to do is cover the entire cone shape with the Dollar Tree reindeer moss. But I don't want any of this bright red color or the words showing through if there are any bald parts of the moss. So I painted this leafy green first. I thought one coat was going to be enough, but it's such a bright red pattern that it was still pretty bold. So I am going to go over it with the second coat of the leafy green to make sure I have a really good base for this project before I get started with the moss. I want to cover the whole thing in moss. It's going to make him look so cool. And then I'm going to use one of these gnome stockings from the Dollar Tree for the beard and the nose. It's already built. All you have to do is get it off. I'm using my heat gun very carefully because this fabric definitely melts, just to melt the hot glue enough to detach the little gnome beard and nose. And then I'm going to use a Dollar Tree stocking to make a cute little gnome Santa hat. I want it to be long and skinny like a gnome hat would be, but I also want it to be red and white plush like a Santa hat. So I turn the stocking inside out, and I'm going to kind of go with the inside cut of that. That's perfect. But I'm going to kind of sketch out a long skinny gnome hat like I want it to look. And we are going to go ahead and use that seam. Might as well. But then I'm just going to cut it wider than what I need here on the other side, so I have plenty of room to hot glue that to make a Santa hat. Now, I hate sewing, and so this is going to be a no-sew Santa hat. I'm just going to use hot glue. Now, I'm going to glue it inside out like this. You might want to do it the right direction because it's so skinny that it was really hard to turn it inside out. But this is the way that I made mine. I hot glued on that little border that I have there. And this was the difficult part, getting that skinny tip to go through. I was trying like a paintbrush, whatever I could find to try to help me. I kind of had to just work like little part by part to get it all out, but it did turn out really cute. But I did pull apart the seam a little bit, so I will have to do a little bit of repair work here now. I pulled out the seam a little bit right there, so I'm going to glue that tighter so you can't see. And this really reminds me of a gnome hat. It's really kind of cute. It goes off to the side a little bit. And then for the white cuff, I just go ahead and glue those to each other, just finishing off the cuff there of our no-sew Santa hat. And this was just the perfect size for the top of that party hat. So we have the Santa hat ready. I do end up using a pom-pom on the end, and the beard and the nose is ready. I'm going to kind of see how much moss I need. So I put my Santa hat on, measure how long my beard is, and just kind of draw a line on my cone. And that's how far I will have to go up with moss. It took about exactly 2 packages. I did have to break into a third package, but you might get away with 2 packages of this to cover it. I don't want it to be super thick, so I'm trying to kind of pull the pieces apart a little bit. And I just did 2 rows of hot glue and just gluing that all the way up. Since I painted the party hat green, it's very forgiving. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we're going to cover this entire thing with this. I love this idea. I think this looks really cool. I'm always looking for a way to make a seasonal gnome. I think they're so fun. Now, if you wanted to make this project more for outdoors, you could use one of the Dollar Tree traffic cones, maybe something made out of plastic, and attach paint it, attach the moss to that, and it would be something that would hold up a little bit better outside, like on your porch. That would be really cute too, especially since it's mossy looking, right? I'm just going to continue going kind of one section at a time. 2 rows of hot glue seem to work really well to grab my moss. And I'm so glad that Dollar Tree has this back in. I had to go to Walmart last time to buy some, and I do not like going there. So a few more areas until he's all covered. Again, I don't have to do the very tip where the hat is going to be because you wouldn't be able to see the moss under there. And 2.5 packages covered the whole thing. I'm going to make sure everything's attached. There's not like any obvious bald areas there. And you can always trim it up a little bit to try to make it look a little bit better. But I kind of like it looking a little bit crazy like that. Now we can go ahead and put our Santa gnome together. Here is the beard. It's already got the nose attached, so that's super easy. I use some hot glue along the top and glue it down to the reindeer moss. And I'm also going to glue down the beard a little bit just to make sure that it sticks closely to the gnome. The moss is pretty forgiving with the hot glue. And then this is the hat. Now, I do want it to stand up like a gnome hat, though. And it wants to flop over. So I'm going to use a little bit of the Dollar Tree Crafter Square polyfill. You can always use an old pillow for this, too. And just stuff the hat, and it's going to make it stand up on its own. I use a pair of scissors to kind of push it down in there. And a little spatula, too, to get it down to the tip of that long, skinny gnome hat. And I hadn't decided if I was going to put a pom-pom on the end at this point, but I do end up, because Santa's hat does have a pom-pom on the end. I think a little bit more polyfill and it's going to stand up on its own. This piece is actually really large. Since I used that large party hat from the Dollar Tree, it's really kind of a statement piece and it's so fun. I think I'm going to have this in my entryway for Christmas. He's so cute. And you know what? I've converted my husband because he told me to make a Santa gnome. So he smiled big when I showed him this because he used to hate gnomes and I think I've changed him. I picked up some pom-poms here from the Dollar Tree Crafter Square and I'm going to use one of the smaller white ones. I don't want it to be too crazy. Right here on the end of our gnome hat and attach that with a little bit of hot glue. Doesn't he look so festive and fun? I love how our little Santa gnome turned out. I definitely wanted a project I could use the moss with because I've been looking for it forever. I was so glad they have it back in stock. But here it is, our kind of pretty giant Mossy Santa gnome. He is probably, I don't know, 2.5 feet tall. He's pretty tall, as you can see. I love him. Hey guys, I would love to see what you've been crafting. Be sure to join our private Facebook group. It's linked in the description of this video, and you can share your DIYs with the rest of the Crafty Beach Bums. We would love to see it. Okay, back to the Christmas DIYs. For this one, I'm going to use a Dollar Tree vase. I just picked up the $1.25 one. I still have a Dollar Tree that's not a Dollar Tree Plus, and I really like going there because I try to avoid the plus items a lot because they're so expensive. And I'm actually going to make a scarf. For the bottom of the vase, I want to make this into a snowman as well. It's going to be kind of a snowman head. And I wanted something red and white and festive to use to make a scarf for the bottom. And so I actually just used the top of one of the little gnome stockings. But you have to be really careful. As you can see, this stuff melts. So I'm just using enough heat just to make the hot glue melt a little bit so I can cut that fabric off because I really liked that pattern, the red and white snowflake pattern. And so I thought I would use it. I always try to save all my scraps from other crafting projects. Now, I don't really want the seam to be on the front of the fabric, so I took my time here on the front of the snowman to make sure that I just cut the seam apart. And I won't have that, but I don't really care about the second piece because this piece is not long enough to make it all the way around the Dollar Tree vase. And I'm going to decorate this like that. Now, I'm not going to frost this one. I'm going to show you a different method that you can use to make a snowman with Dollar Tree glass or plastic products like this and make it look like snow. So this is going to be the scarf. I'm just going to have it lay flat against the vase, but it's just going to provide a pop of color. And that's why I had to do two, is because it wasn't quite long enough to make it all the way around. And since it is a round piece like this, I think it does need to go all the way around on this project. And this is going to be a light up snowman. It turned out so cute. It is so fun. So I'm going to use my second little piece here for the back, just to make sure it goes all the way around. And then I'm going to glue the front too to make sure it doesn't slip down like that and stays in place. Now we're going to do a snowman face on the vase. I'm using a black paint pen, and we're going to do two little ovals here for our snowman eyes. I do go back and add like a little eye spot in those to make them look super cute. And then we're going to do the traditional like coal mouth. I just do 5 black dots here for the snowman mouth. You could also draw us a grin on there too if you don't want to do the coal. And then I'm going to do the carrot nose with my orange paint pen by sketching out a nice size carrot here and filling it in with the little stripes. The black went on really well. The orange kind of looks a little bit distressed, but for a carrot, I kind of like that look. I think it looks cool. Just trying to make it have that fun carrot shape. And again, a little white eye spot in each one of the eyes just gives the eyes a little bit of personality there. Now, I told you we're going to light this up. This is the cool white, so it doesn't have the yellow tint like the other lights from the Dollar Tree. I wanted it to be bright white like snow, so that is why I chose those lights for this project. And I'm going to have the battery pack just be on the back so I can turn it on and off or change the batteries without having to take the snowman apart. Now for the snow look, we're going to use the polyfill from the Crafter Square from Dollar Tree and wrap that with the light. So that's going to give us the look of the snow for the snowman without having to frost it. It's also going to help me cover the wires for the light, because you really want the light to show through and less of the wires. So I kind of do like one section at a time, making sure I put a little polyfill in front of the wire, but also making sure that the lights are still visible from the front and the sides where you're going to be able to see our little light up snowman. And I just keep doing that until I get to the very top and it's all full. Again, I'm going to leave this out so I don't have to take it apart to be able to turn it on and off or change batteries. So I just hot glue it to the scarf there in the back where you won't be able to see it because of all the polyfill inside the snowman head. So this is what he's looking like so far. I think he's going to be really cute on my kitchen counter for Christmas. I love things on my kitchen counter that I can light up. It looks great in the evening or at night. And then I picked up a black stocking hat from Dollar Tree. I thought this black would be perfect for a snowman hat, right? It is a little too big for this size vase though, so I cut it down, and I'm also going to glue seams into it to make it smaller. I need it to be smaller to fit on this little snowman. So I just take one side and glue it on itself. I have it inside out right now. And then I go ahead and do the same thing here on the other side. I did notice it kept being a little bit bigger than I needed, but I didn't want to make it too small, so I kind of downsized one step at a time here. But I love the little black pom-pom on the top. I think that's super cute. So I turn it right side out and then kind of glue those seams a little bit better here on the sides so that you can't see any of that. And I'm also going to be cuffing it like this too when the snowman is wearing it. I'm going to try it on. First size, and it's still a little bit too big. I did think about using Dollar Tree socks for this. And that's going to fit a little bit better than the hat, but I really loved the black hat. I thought that would be perfect for a snowman. So I'm just going to create seams in it like that and downsize it until I get it the perfect size here. It's pretty close. I do have a little bit excess fabric here in the back, so I just cut that out, and I don't really care what the hat looks like in the back. So I'm just going to kind of hot glue it to itself just to make it fit back there after I remove the excess fabric. And then the front, I want it to be, rolled over like a stocking hat would be. and then just kind of glue down any loose pieces I have. Now it is fitting way better on our little snowman, and I think it looks really festive and cute. So here it is, our little light up snowman. Really fun project for Christmas, super easy to do. And I love the little black stocking hat on him. The polyfill makes really cute snow in there. And again, the snowman face is so easy just to paint on yourself. If you hate hand painting, you could always use your Cricut too, if you have one, to cut out some vinyl for a snowman face. But he was actually really easy to do. And I think he turned out so cute. Let me show you how he looks lit up. Really cute. I love Snowman DIYs. I have so many Christmas ideas for this year, and I noticed like half of them are snowmen, so be prepared. Your girl loves snowmen. I always have. Every holiday I've ever decorated as an adult, I always have tons of snowmen. So cute. For the first one, I needed a Dollar Tree long sign. This was the only one I could find. And then I also wanted to get these little wood ornaments. I chose the circle, the square, and like the cross shape of them. And I want to make them into an abstract snowman. So the first thing I'm going to do is just remove the hanger from the sign because I'm going to make it a vertical sign to make this a snowman. And so while I don't have anything on there, I might as well change the hanger out since I had taken it off before. Super easy to do. Just take some Dollar Tree twine and tie it in a knot. I'm just going to use my staple gun. The wood is plenty thick around the frame of these signs. Now these come in like white, I think brown, black. I could only find this one with this like kind of a wood pattern on it, but it wasn't really the wood pattern that I was going for, so I'm going to make my own. And I'm going to do that with the Dollar Tree wood rulers. You can get the same kind of effect using like popsicle sticks, but I wanted it to be really thick as the frame, to give me a nice wood palette-like sign. And so the rulers are going to work really well for this, and I can stain them. So I'm just measuring. It's okay if it's a little bit short, how wide the back of the sign is, and I'm just going to mark that off. I can get 2 pieces of wood out of each ruler. So I am just going to start here with 4. So that's going to give me 8 pieces, and then we can kind of go from there. They do have these stickers on the front of them, super easy to remove. And there's also a beveled edge, which I'm actually going to use to be able to glue these down. It's going to give it some of the height. So I cut those 4 rulers down to 8 pieces. So just trying them on for size, seeing about how much of this sign it's going to cover. And it looks like we're going to need a few more. I probably could have cut them a little bit wider, but that's okay. I'm going to stain everything so you won't be able to tell that pattern there on the back. So I just take another package of 2. I always stock up on these. I use these wood rulers from the Dollar Tree for crafting all the time. I really like them. And using one for reference, I'm going to be able to cut 4 more out of these 2 rulers. Now, when I got to the end, there's not enough room for like a whole piece. So I'm actually going to have to cut one lengthwise, which was a little bit more difficult for my saw. What I ended up having to do was cut another ruler down in half and then cut it longer because I was having a lot of trouble cutting it lengthwise. I have like a miter saw, power tool. And so I'm going to start right here at the top. I just put some hot glue on that little ridge, and we are going to start making our pallet sign just by hot gluing these down. Trying to kind of center it on there if I can, and trying to a little space as possible between the rulers. I'm kind of trying to touch them if I can until I get here to the bottom. And I did recut that one to make it a little bit straighter, and it's about a half of a ruler fit down there to fill up the whole board sign. So this is what it looks like so far, and we're going to make it into an abstract snowman, but first I want to stain it. So I'm going to stain the rulers and the wood frame that was on there all this color. It's just some antique wax by Waverly that I get at Walmart, and a beautiful warm color. I loved how this sign turned out, and you can see how beautiful those rulers actually stain. What a great wood grain in those. Now, since I did have a little bit of gap around the edges, I did have to go in there with a brush too to get some of that Antique Wax by Waverly down there too. And don't be afraid to work with this stuff. It dries really fast, especially on wood, just like paint. So once I get it all on there, I took just a baby wipe, and I'm just going to wipe off all the excess, really bringing out that great wood grain. And this is exactly what I was going for this project. So I'm really loving how it turned out so far. So just making sure you can't see any of that original sign back there, we can start on the snowman. Aren't these things great? They have these like in white and black at Dollar Tree. These little wall charms, they do have the wood beads on them, so I just removed those with a pair of pliers here. And I'm going to do the circle for the snowman head. I'm going to do the cross for the middle, and I'm going to do the square for the bottom. I can't remember. I got this idea from somewhere, and I can't remember where. If I can find it, I'll post it in the comments below. But I loved it, and so I had to go to Dollar Tree and hunt for some of those little shapes. Now for the square here at the top, I'm actually using just a Dollar Tree wood square, a little bit smaller than the wood panel ones, and then another Dollar Tree ruler, and we're going to make a cute little, just a rustic sign for the snowman. I think this is a little too tall too, so I'm going to cut the ruler down and cut that square down again with my saw to make the perfect size hat here. Just going to give them a quick sand. And the snowman elements are all white and they're all distressed. So I want to make the snowman hat black like a traditional snowman hat, but I also want to distress it too, so it kind of goes with that theme. We're not going to be adding any like arms or anything like that to it. I don't really want anything sticking out of the sides of this one, but I really like the very abstract snowman. So I just go over all the edges and the front of both of those little wood pieces and just wiping off the paint with a baby wipe to bring out a little bit of the wood grain that's in them too, to go with the distressed vibe. And then I just lightly distress them with a little bit of a white acrylic paint, wiping off the excess just to give them, you know, a little bit of a rough vintage feel. It's definitely going to make it go together with the rest of the snowman a lot better. To attach it, I just put some hot glue here on the back, around the four corners, and some in the middle, and glue that to it. I do want a little bit of space between each shape so you can see their distinct shapes, and gluing them all together for a little abstract snowman. Isn't this so cute? I love these shapes. I'm going to try to find lots of uses for them because they are so cute. And you don't have to paint them or distress them or anything if you can get them all in white. And so I just glue the little square I cut down. I glue the ruler on it. Again, I do like the little wedge side down so it's flat on front. And it gives me a cute little snowman hat. I do want to adorn it a little bit just to give a little greenery, something that would be on a snowman hat. So I got some of this like mini greenery from the Dollar Tree. It does have glitter on it, but I'm going to try to use pieces that don't. And then cut just 2 pieces down here for the hat. I'm also going to be using some of the little snowy berries that they have from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to do 2 little pieces of the greenery. And then I'm just going to pull off the little snowy berries. I think these are so cute for a snowman because they look like they're covered in snow already. And we're just going to hot glue 3 of these to his hat. I really loved how this project turned out. It was so much fun. And check out how beautiful this is. I absolutely love how this turned out. It's very simple, just with 3 shapes making up the snowman and the little snowman hat. But I love the pallet sign that we did behind it with the rulers. It's stained beautifully, and I love the fact that it matches the frame of it as well. But really cute. You can make this a standing sign if you wanted. I wanted mine to be hanging on my wall. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying today's video. If you are, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos do a little bit better here on YouTube. For the next DIY, I picked up 2 of the wood slice signs from the Dollar Tree in 2 different sizes, but both circular. And we're actually going to make a reindeer with this using one of these Dollar Tree headbands, one of the little red mini Christmas ornaments, and a burlap bag for a little bit of burlap that's easy to work with, faux burlap. To start with, we're just going to go ahead and remove the tags on these. I want to remove the hanger from the smaller one because that is actually going to be the snout of the reindeer. Now, I know you're thinking this doesn't look like a reindeer, but I saw it. I saw the vision, and I'm so glad I made this DIY because it turned out so cute. You have to be really careful removing the staples from these. A lot of times I like to go back and use just a Cricut weeder to pop those out for as little damage as possible to the bark on the outside of the wood slice. Now I am going to stain them to bring out that great wood grain. I don't want them to be super dark though, so I'm just going to put a little bit of Antique Wax by Waverly on here. Just enough to cover it, follow that up with a baby wipe. Now you'll notice that the two wood slices don't actually stain evenly. The snout actually stained a little bit better than the back sign. I don't know. It's like this one kind of soaked up the stain a little bit more, but that's okay. It's going to have lots of stuff going on back there with the reindeer anyway, but I did want it to be stained like the snout. So see how it kind of soaked it up a little bit more? It's a little bit darker. Again, I'm wiping off the excess with a baby wipe. So it's not quite as dark. I guess you could always water down your Antique Wax by Waverly too. Now for some burlap. I'm cutting down just the front off one of these little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree. They're faux burlap. They have a plastic coating on the back. They're super easy to work with. You don't have to worry about them fraying or anything like that. And they're easy to cut. You can kind of sketch on them and stuff like that. What I want is like for the top of the reindeer head to be made out of faux burlap and also the ears. So I'm just going to turn this upside down. I can kind of see through it. I want like the top of the reindeer head. So I'm just going to draw like a rough circle with a Sharpie here on the back. Then I wanted to come down like for the snout a little bit above the eyes and just have a little bit of different variation. I do want it to be brown like the rest of the reindeer. And so even though it's this light color burlap, I am going to paint it to kind of correspond a little bit more to the color that we stained it to. Just making sure I got the top of this right to go with the curve of the wood slice. And it's going to go kind of something like that. I'm also going to be using the same material to cut out the ears. So I'm going to go ahead and cut down two more like little rectangles here of the burlap. And then I can cut out some simple little reindeer ears. The great thing about this is that it does have that coating on the back enough to make the ears stand up, which is what I'm going for. And the little reindeer antler headband has kind of like almost like a cardboard in them. So those stand up well too. So I just have to kind of figure out how I'm going to do this. You could cut it all out in one piece, but I am going to have like a harness for the reindeer up there. So it'll kind of cover the seam. I didn't really have a color that I liked for this. So I mixed just like a chocolate brown together with some antique white to give me a light brown. And I tried that at first. As you can see, it might be the color of brown that I was using, but it was very grayish and I wanted it to be warmer. So I just added some orange acrylic to that, kind of make my own custom color. And I like this one better. It looked a little bit more the same tone as the wood that I had stained. So I just paint the burlap, super easy. And now I have some brown burlap pieces for that. For the headband, these are attached with hot glue. This material melts like really quickly. So I'm just giving little blasts of heat with my heat gun on there, just enough to make the hot glue pliable enough for me to be able to pull off the two antlers. Aren't these so cute? They are ready to go. I put some hot glue here on the top. I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to melt the burlap too much there, but I did need hot glue for that part. And then you kind of have to figure out where you want your little reindeer ears and your reindeer antlers. I was trying to remember the antlers I think should be on top and the ears kind of going off to the side a little bit. So I think we can make this work, but I think that my little reindeer ears might be a little bit too big. So I'm just going to trim those down a little bit to make sure that it fits. I want it to match up where the burlap is on the reindeer head. So I just attached those with hot glue as well. As you can see, they keep their shape standing up there for my little reindeer. And this guy just turned out so sweet. I love him. I can't wait for my son to see him when he comes home for Thanksgiving. And I just go ahead and glue down this part too, of being, again, trying to be careful not to melt anything. And then I can go ahead and attach my antlers. I do that with a little bit of hot glue on the base of each one right here and gluing that to the head. I wanted the 2 wood slices to give it more, 3-dimension and to give it an actual snout. So with that laying on there, I'm going to go ahead and start sketching out the eyes. I'm using a black paint pen, and I just draw like the shape of an eye, like almost the shape like of a human eye, something really simple here for the eye. And you could do like sleeping eyes or happy eyes, which are just like a curve. That would be easier if you don't want to paint yours, but I wanted mine to have a lot of personality. So I painted little black pupils in there, and I kind of just distress it a little bit with a baby wipe to kind of make it blend into the stain a little bit. And then I don't really like the black outline so much, so I'm going to go over that with a brown paint pen. That'll kind of match my wood stain more and kind of outline my eyes some more. And the paint pens that I'm using are Posca paint pens. I love these. I get these on Amazon. I think got them at Target before too. I do have them on my Amazon affiliate link in my store in the description of this video. If you need paint pens, these are the best. I do white here for the whites of the eyes. And then I'm going to go over and do brown around the eyelid again, just to clean it up since I've added the white. And again, I'm covering up the brown there. And I like that better. And then just kind of touching up my eyes to make sure that they're round. And I think that looks pretty cool. Now for the ears, I had used my brown paint pen to kind of sketch out the inside of the ear. I thought about attaching another piece of burlap here for the inside, but I decided just to go ahead and use my paint pen, paint that ear here, just to give it a little bit different color there. And all of these browns actually work pretty well together. Now it's time to think about the snout. I want mine to be Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. I thought one of these Dollar Tree little mini red ornaments would be perfect. I picked up the ones that were super shiny, like Rudolph's nose, and I'm actually going to put it right here in the center of that wood slice. Now, I thought it would stick better if I actually drilled a hole in the wood slice, but you could actually just break off that plastic piece at the end if you wanted to hot glue it to it if you don't want to break out your drill. I tried my big drill bit. It wasn't big enough. I had to switch to a bigger one. It was a bigger hole than I thought to be able to put that in there, but I was able to get it where I could just screw it in. You don't even have to glue it in. And so I don't think that little Rudolph nose is going to be going anywhere. It was perfect fit. That looks really good. I'm really glad I decided to do the snout here, just trying to figure out which direction looks best. I think I like it like that the best. Gonna add some hot glue here to the back and a little hot glue to the nose just in case. And glue that together for our little reindeer. Isn't he looking so cute? Now I want him to have a little harness because he is a working reindeer, and I have the headband here that the little antlers were attached to, and I hate to waste craft supplies, so we're going to use it to make his harness. I just go ahead and pull off the 3 little gold bells that were on it, and then I can use some of the material here on the back where it didn't get damaged from the heat, and try to cut this down to size. So I just kind of lay it on my little wood round and kind of cut it around where I think it should be. So that is like even kind of with the top of his head. And I just want it to be a strip of a harness, so I cut that out. Now this is doubled up right now, and there is a seam sewn in there, as you can see. I really only need 1 layer, and I really don't want that seam. So I just take it apart and actually just rip out the seam there so I can cut it in just to 1 strap like that. And I think that will work perfectly. And we can attach the little jingle bells to that, and it's going to add a little bit more color to him, but also some more personality. I attach it here at the top with some hot glue. It's just like a red felt material. And then you could also do this with like the headband antlers, if that's all you can find, but I really prefer these brown ones on these headbands because they're really cute. The other ones are kind of plaid. It's not going to give you like a real authentic reindeer feel. And then I just attached my 3 little gold jingle bells here to the top. And he is ready to go for Christmas Eve, my little wood slice reindeer. Absolutely love him. Let me give you a closer look of how he turned out. See how there's like so many different colors of brown? I like that. And I'm glad I decided to do a little bit of burlap texture there. I knew I was going to have to do burlap anyway for the ears, so adding a little to his face was fun too. And I love his little Rudolph nose. Super cute. So much personality. Now for the next DIY, I'm going to turn these 2 Dollar Tree candle holders and some red long candles from the Dollar Tree into a snowman hat candle. So for the red candles, I'm going to be melting these on my stove. I go ahead and remove the plastic wrapper on both of those. And I have an old pot that I just used to melt candles because I love melting these candles like this from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to put them in there until they are melted. Now we can get started on our snowman hat. This is just a round, flat candle holder from the Dollar Tree. And then this distinctive shaped candle holder as well. It's going to give us the perfect snowman shape. So I'm just removing all of the labels on these. I am going to be painting these to make these look like a snowman hat. But I want to go ahead and glue everything together while it's still in the glass stage. I think that way it'll be stronger. And then paint it once I have it built. So I made sure to get all my stickers off. For the glue, I'm going to be using the Dollar Tree multi-purpose cement. You could also use E6000 for this if you have some. What I did was go around all around the edge with the multi-purpose cement. And then for a quick hold, I'm also going to do hot glue, but I'm going to do it in the middle so that the 2 different glues don't mix. So I just put some on there, and then I am going to attach this to the other candle holder. So it's a pretty big candle holder, so that's why I'm melting 2 of the red candles, because I think it's definitely going to take that much to fill up a candle this size. Now to paint it, it's a little bit tricky, but I'm using some black chalkboard paint from Dollar Tree. I really like this. It's a really nice dark paint. And I just start going around the top of the bottom candle holder there. Also getting the edges. And then I can go around and paint the actual sides of the candle holder. I don't want to paint inside of it, the one on top, because I don't want it to interfere with the candle that we're making. So I'm just painting on the outside. Now you'll see that it's not going to give you great coverage. It's probably because I'm using like an acrylic paint. Chalk paint might work a little bit better. You could always spray paint this too. If you like maybe held it or had it upside down where no paint would get inside. But basically you're going to want everything to be black, that common color for a snowman hat. So this is what one coat looks like. You can see there's lots of streaking. You can see through the glass still. So definitely going to require some more paint. So I'm going to go over it again with the black chalkboard paint. And again, this is from Dollar Tree. It works really good. It gives you like kind of a chalkboard texture too, which I really enjoy. So I'm just going over that bottom candle holder again with another coat of the black paint. And then I'm going to go over the sides as well. Just sponging that on with a sponge paintbrush from the Dollar Tree until I get good coverage all over. Again, just the top and the sides of those 2 candle holders. Definitely try not to get any paint inside. This is what it looks like after 2 coats. As you can see, there's still a little bit of streaking. So I did go over mine with a 3rd coat because, again, I want it to be super black. I don't want you to be able to see any of that red candle through it. And I actually did end up needing both of the red candles to go inside. Now you could use the wicks that are in those candles that I am melting, but I actually got these candle wicks on Amazon, and I want to make it a 3-wick candle. So I'm just going to go ahead and use new ones. My hot glue gun was not working right now. My battery had died, so I'm using a little Gorilla Glue tape here on the base of these just to try to make sure they stay in place while I pour the hot wax and stuff like that in. Again, I'm going to make a 3-wick candle, so I'm just trying to scatter these around. When I bought this great kit, I think I do have this linked in my Amazon shop too. It also came with popsicle sticks with holes drilled in it for the wicks. And you know what? I used them all, and when they had wax on them, I kind of threw them away. I wish I wouldn't have because they worked really well. I'm just going to try to replicate with a popsicle stick, cutting some notches in it. Didn't work as well. But I'll show you what I did to counteract that. So I have these all melted. I pulled the wicks out of them just to get them out of the way. And I'm going to dump both of the red candles in here. If you wanted, you could scent this as well. And you might want to save a little wax from your last candle because a lot of times when they solidify, you'll get like a bowl shape in the middle and you might need to go back and refill it. This one is looking really good. As you can see, I hot glued the little wicks to popsicle sticks so they would stay in place. Now for the ribbon on the snowman hat, I'm using this great ribbon I found from the Dollar Tree. It's like a red and black buffalo check, but it also has snowflakes on it, so I think that's perfect. The only problem is it's not wide enough for what I want, so I'm going to show you how I fix that. I'm just seeing about how long I need to go around, and I am going to cut that off, and I'm actually cutting 2 strips. So once I get the 2 strips, I'm going to put them together to make a wider ribbon. And I kind of want to do it before I attach it to the snowman hat. I think that'll work better. And to do that, I'm just going to use a 3rd piece of ribbon. So I cut a 3rd piece of ribbon the same length. I can put some hot glue here on this half of the ribbon and line this up to the center of the ribbon, gluing that down. I do want the snowflakes to be offset, so I kind of flipped it here. And for the 2nd row, and I hot glue that one as well. And now I have a nice thick ribbons, perfect size for the snowman hat. And way easier to work with. So now all we have to do is wrap this around the candle that we DIY'd. I put a little hot glue here on the back, gluing the ribbon on, and we're just going to decorate this like we would decorate a snowman hat. So a little hot glue here on the end, overlapping slightly here on the back. It is so cute. I'm so glad I decided to make this DIY. It definitely looks like a snowman hat. Now for the decorations, I'm going to use some of the Dollar Tree mini pine picks. They do have glitter on them. Again, I'm not going to use ones with glitter on them if I can't avoid it. Some of them have way more glitter than the others. And so I'm just going to cut off some pieces that we can use to decorate. Kind of making 2 pieces look similar here by trimming up the bottom piece because it was all one piece originally. And I just want a couple little sprigs of pine like that. Now, I think that is a little too wide, so I'm going to cut mine down into just 2 sprigs instead of the 3 that were on there, so it'll fit a little bit better here on my little snowman hat candle. And I think that looks good. So I'm going to attach it with a little bit of hot glue here on both of those. I'm also going to be using some of those little snowy berries as well. Super cute to decorate with. These come 3 together like this. I'm just going to go ahead and cut them off the wires because the wires are too long for what I'm using them for. But I do want a little bit of wire on there so I can put some hot glue on there and glue that down into the greenery. I'm just going to do 3. I think odd numbers always looks good for like berries and stuff like this. And I love the fact that they are snowy for the snowman. That looks good. I don't think I need too much decoration, so I just detach here where I had them hot glued to my popsicle sticks. And then all I have to do is cut the wicks. I want them to be short like they should be here. So I'm going to cut all 3 down to size. And we have a fun little Christmas candle. Look how cute this turned out. I absolutely love this DIY. And again, you might have a little bit of a hole or dipping in the top of your candle. You might want to save some wax for that because you could always heat that up, pour that in there and fix it to give you a flat top for your candle. But I actually got pretty lucky on mine. Mine looks pretty good. Isn't this so cute? I absolutely love this idea. So fun for Christmas. Hey guys, be sure to check out my website. It's craftybeach.net. I'm working hard to try to get this updated. I kind of fell behind during the hurricane, but soon we'll get it all the way updated. Now for the next DIY, I want to make an angel wings wreath. This is a heart-shaped wreath form from the Dollar Tree. They normally have these at Valentine's Day. You might have one left over. Or if you're lucky, your store still have them. Mine did. So I'm just cutting with wire cutters down here, all 3 of these pieces at the bottom. We're going to separate that and it's going to give us perfect angel wings. Now, if you can't find the heart shape, you could always do this with 2 of the candy cane wreath forms put together there in the middle. And then I'm using the Dollar Tree garland. Now, I kind of went back and forth whether I wanted to flock this garland to make my angel wings white. But I really liked it green, so I'm going to leave mine green, but that is an option if you want yours to be white. I do have a white front door, though, so I think the green's going to look better. I start here at the end where it's a little sharp with those just loose wires like that, and I wrap the garland around it. It keeps its shape pretty well, so it's easy to wire it to the wire. And then I'm just going to simply wrap. Now, the fact that the wreath is cut like this makes it easier to wrap. I started with 1 package here, and this is going to do about half of the angel wing wreath form. And then we're also going to be using garland for the feathers for the angel wings as well. So you can see I don't have to go through. I can just wrap it around to wrap it. And so I do that until I run out of this piece. It took me a little bit past the center here, and I was wrapping pretty tightly with this, which is great because that'll give me a little excess here from the second piece of garland that I can use to make the top of the angel wings a little bit wider. So this is my second piece. I love crafting with the Dollar Tree garland. It's so much fun, and you can do so many fun things with this. Now, I looked online for an angel wing wreath made out of garland or greenery, and you know what? I couldn't find anything. I've seen a million ways people have done angel wings wreaths, but I hadn't found anybody that had done one like this. So I thought, let's just give it a go and see how it turns out. Again, I'm just wrapping tightly until I get all the way to the end. I am going to have a little bit of excess here, which is great because I do end up using that. Just because I thought that the top of the angel wings were a little bit skinny for my liking. Again, just trying to wind it tight here as I can using my wire cutters to cut that off. It's so fluffy, it kind of makes it retain the heart shape. So I am going to have to bend it a little bit to give it that like little angel wing look a little bit. So that is the main structure of it. Now it's time to add all of the feathers for the angel wings. And I'm going to do that with these 12-piece garland ties. These are wired from the Dollar Tree. I ended up using 2 packages, so a total of 24. I'm going to do my first round of feathers. I end up doing 6 on each side. And I'm just kind of going between like the inside and the middle wire and twisting that to keep it on, making the feathers kind of go down to the bottom like that. And I do the same thing for that one. Now you can kind of vary how long that your feathers are, depending on which one you go in between, the inside in the middle or the outside in the middle. You can make some of them longer. And I do that there towards the bottom where I want my feathers to be a little bit longer. And these are going to be the feathers that are kind of flat against the wall. I did 5 on that side, and then I went ahead and did 5 on this side. And I did go back and end up adding the extra one to each side. So a total of 12, 6 on each side for this one. And again, just kind of feeling through with that wire, and you can just twist it there against the wreath form. It's going to keep it in place. And it's giving me the feel of feathers coming down from the wings. and out to the sides, which is what I was looking for. I just did one here on this side and one here on this side at the very end. So those will be nice long feathers. And that is a good start. So I'm going to open up a second package, the same thing, another 12. And these are going to be the feathers that kind of are more 3D, that stick out more at you. So what I did was just kind of feed it in here from behind and then wrap that around to the inside edge, bending it down again so the feathers kind of go down in the direction that I want. And again, I'm just twisting it to make sure that it stays on there. I think this is going to look so cute and festive on my front door for Christmas. And I love the idea of angel wings. I have a lot of angels in my life, my mother and my father. And this makes me smile thinking about them. So I'm going to go ahead and do 6 on each side. I do want it to be nice and full. So a total of 12 on each side, so total of 24. So 2 packages of the garland originally and 2 packages of the little garland ties. Trying to make this one kind of symmetrical, following what I did on the other side, going along the inner wire, twisting those, making those come down like that, and kind of following the same paths. Now, again, I wasn't sure if I liked it in green like this. Once you get it all on here, you can kind of decide for yourself because it is really easy to flock this. You can just use some white spray paint and do some sprays on it. You don't want like full coverage, and it would give you like a snowy look on the greenery. And that might be fun for your angel wings since angel wings are usually white. And if any of them are too long, I'm just using some wire cutters just to kind of manage the length on some of them. But I only did that on a couple of them. I really kind of liked the size they are when they're in half like that. They're not super long. And then I'm just making sure everything is wired here to the end and nothing is going to fall off. I think they're kind of looking like angel wings. What do you think? I'm going to dangle down one of the angel wing ornaments down in the middle. I think that's definitely going to give it the angel wings vibe. So if you weren't sure at first they are angel wings, when you see that, you might think so. I can have it hang down in the center. And to do that, I do a little bit of twine. I go through these 2 pieces here and then take those 2 ends, pulling it through, and that makes a perfect hanger. I made sure to cut my twine long enough to do this. Then I tie another knot so it won't go too high and it will dangle down like that inside my wreath form. I take that twine and I tie it off to my wreath form, and then I tie another knot here at the top to make a hanger for my wreath. I probably could have made that a little bit longer, but I think it's going to work. And then I also want to decorate where the 2 angel wings come together. To do that, I'm using some of the Dollar Tree white flowers. I chose these because they didn't have hardly any glitter on them, and I thought they would be a nice neutral color. They're not super full, as you can see, but with a little ironing with my heat gun, I think we can make them work. And I really like the white color, so I am bringing in a little bit of white here for the angel wings. I did notice with these flowers, though, that they're not cut great. Most of my petals were stuck together, as you can see, and I did not like that. So I do make sure to go in and trim those all up before I go in and attach. I attached one right here in the center, right where I am hanging the angel wings. And it's like a lot of them are like, I don't know, they would look better with 5 petals, but they had 4. But I'm going to group them all together, so I think it'll be okay. But I did have to cut the petals apart on every single one of these. I just put a little hot glue here on the stem that's left over after I had pulled them off the greenery. And glue that down into the garland. I do 3 in like an arch shape like that. And then I'm going to go through with the other 2 here on top, kind of offsetting those a little bit. And you're going to need something there where the angel wings come together. You could also do a bow if you wanted to. Since I did the flowers, I chose not to do any kind of bow here, but you could. It'd be a really cute place for a beautiful bow. But the angel wing ornaments hanging inside, I think, is a really great touch. Once I have them attached, I iron all of my leaves with my heat gun. This works great for the bent leaves on the Dollar Tree flowers. And it's going to make them look so much better. I'm also going to add some of these large berries from the Christmas aisle at the Dollar Tree. They're white glittery. They kind of remind me of snowballs almost. Just to add a little bit more fun up here, but again, really neutral with the white. They are wired together like 2 at a time, but the fact that they're on wires is perfect for this because I can kind of feed it through my wreath like that and wire it to the frame so they will stay put. I'm just going to kind of scatter those around anywhere around the flowers where the greenery might show through, just to add a little bit of more sparkle and fun. So I do like one here in the center and trying to see maybe one more right here and one here. Just trying to keep it symmetrical if I can. But I'm really loving how this turned out. I think it's so cute. I think that looks pretty good. Now I did notice that there was a little bit of hole here in the flower and I did have one flower left. This one did have a stained petal though, so I just made it work just by actually removing that petal. I'm just going ahead and cut all my petals apart. That is the offending one. That's the reason why I didn't use it. And I glued that right here in the middle, and you can't even tell. I think that looks really good. I did think that the top of the angel wings could be a little wider when I was looking at the ornament for the shape of the angel wing. So I did have some garland left over. So I'm actually going to do 3 rows connecting this top part here of the heart to make it wider here in the opening. So I did one and then I'm doing another one right next to it. And that's just going to make that part of the angel wing wider. I think it made it have the right shape a little bit better. This one, I just cut off like a longer piece. I fed it through like the middle of my wreath form here and did the second row like that, going to the top of the heart. And I did have a little bit of greenery left over there, so I do go in and do a 3rd row just to beef that up a little bit because the top of the heart was the heart shape, you know, and I want it to be this distinctive angel wing shape. So you can use the ornament for reference a little bit there to help you shape it. Isn't this so pretty? I love it. An angel wing wreath is perfect, I think, for Christmas. And I cannot wait to hang this on my front door. Let me give you a little look of how it turned out. I love that Dollar Tree ornament. It's really cute. I've crafted with that before. But I think I definitely got like the angel wing shapes. And they're wired, so you can kind of curve them like that at the bottom. Kind of like the angel wing ornament that's on there. Isn't that fun? I love it. Okay, for the next DIY, I'm going to take a Dollar Tree chair cover, the Santa hat, and we're going to make a Santa hat pillow. I saw these for sale at some high-end stores, and I thought I could definitely make that for way less. So this is what the chair cover looks like. It's kind of an odd shape. I'm going to make it work, though. What I did was I picked up a pillow on clearance from Target for like $3, and it's like a 18-inch pillow, pretty standard. And this is more of a rectangular shape. My pillow is actually more of a square shape, but I was able to make it work. So yeah, this was marked down to $5 and then $3. So definitely my price range. So you can use anything, an old pillow that you might have, just, you know, anything like that. I did want an actual pillow to help give it the pillow shape instead of using polyfill. Now I take the Santa hat chair cover and I'm going to turn it inside out here, but not the tip of it. So I just have the rectangular shape that I want for my pillow cover. And I am going to glue that together to give me that square pillow shape. Now, this is actually a pretty big chair cover, so it's going to give me a pretty substantial size pillow that I can use even on my sofa, I think, not just for decoration. So I put hot glue right here. This is going to be no-sew, my way. And while it's inside out like that, I just glue it to each other, making a seam there. Now I can use it to wrap my pillow by turning it back inside out. So I just kind of find the corners in my new pillow cover And I put the corners of my square pillow up into those. It is going to be a tight fit because my pillow is a little bit too large. So it's definitely going to be a very well stuffed pillow. A rectangular shaped pillow, if you have one, would probably work better, but I was able to make it work. I just put it in there as tightly as I can. And normally I would just glue the cover to each other, but since this was such a tight fit, I actually had to glue it to the pillow, at least here on the first side, just to be able to get it to fit. So I just do a bead of hot glue here on the pillow itself, and then glue that white trim. Now, if you wanted to add some more material to this, you could do like a white fluff trim down here for the Santa hat to make it a little bit longer, or even use like the automotive towel. But I was trying to make this an easy DIY with just 2 items, so I'm just going to make it work. And so gluing it to the pillow itself did make it work. And I really love how this turned out. So I plan to use this from year to year, so I'm okay with that $3 pillow going in here. Now, once I get that first side attached, I can kind of push my pillow in there more, where I can come down there and hot glue it to itself right there where it like will sandwich the pillow in. But as you can see, you kind of have to hold it until your hot glue sets up. At least I did, because my pillow was so fluffy and full. And so I just kind of worked one section at a time here. I don't want like excess fabric. I want everything to kind of lay flat once I get it glued together here. And I also don't want any gaps. Since it's so tight, I want to make sure the pillow is not peeking out at all. And so I do the same thing here for the middle section. You can see how fluffy this pillow is. My husband's going to love this pillow. He loves pillows. You can't have too many. He tells me all the time. And then I'm a little bit more careful when I go over to the edge here. I'm working again one space at a time, because I want to make sure this seam gives me a nice square seam here at the edge. And I was able to make it work. Now this fabric does kind of pick up everything that was on my craft center. So I just used a little lint roller to clean that up. And then I'm going to have this like come over and flap like the top of the Santa hat. I made sure not to stuff that part. So it just comes down like that. And I think it's looking really cute so far. What do you guys think? It is a little bit wrinkled there at the top, that top flap. I did go in with my heat gun and give it a quick iron. As you can see, it looks a lot better. And then I just glued down just the little pom-pom on the end of the Santa hat. That part's optional, but I didn't really want it flapping around. I kind of wanted it to stay put. And we have a little Santa hat pillow. I absolutely love how this turned out. I don't know how this would hold up outside. That fabric might not hold up too well, but I'm going to be using mine as an indoor pillow for my sofa, and I think it turned out really cute. What do you guys think about this one? It looks almost exactly like the designer one that I saw. Hey guys, I would love to see your DIYs. Be sure to join our Facebook group and share what you've been creating. I get such great ideas from you guys as well. Now for the next DIY, we're going to stay with the Christmas theme. I'm going to make another snowman. I'm going to do it with some of the little wood dice from the Dollar Tree, one of their wood slices, and I picked up some scarecrow hats from the fall section because I thought these would make perfect snowman hats. Look how cute they are. They just have a couple pieces of fall plaid on here. So I'm going to carefully use my heat gun to make the hot glue soft on those to peel those right off. And I have a burlap hat, so I don't even have to make it. It's the perfect scale for this. It's going to be a little miniature snowman that would be perfect for like a smaller area or even for a tier tray. Now, I do want my hat to be black for my snowman, so you can paint the burlap, no problem. Just make sure you use a brush. I'm using some black acrylic, and I'm just going to go all over our little hat. Kind of set this aside so it can dry while we're building the snowman. Even though the snowman is small, I made sure to give it a ton of details. So it just turned out really adorable. So cute. I absolutely love it. And I have so many ideas for snowman crafts this year. So I know I've already had some. Expect more. I've got like a list of snowman crafts. I think snowman crafts are like one of my favorite things for Christmas. Maybe even more than gingerbread. I don't know. Might be a tie. I put some hot glue here on the wood slice. This is just one of the wood slice like coasters that I got from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree. And I also got these little wood dice on there. When I glue the 3 pieces of the snowman together, I turn to the middle piece a little bit just to give it a little bit more character, and then that will be the head of my snowman. I just attach everything together with hot glue. I thought it would be easier to glue it before I start painting it. Again, everything's going to be white and snowy because it's a snowman, so I'm just using some Snow White apple barrel acrylic paint and a brush, and we're going to paint these little wood dice. You could make a bigger version of this with the little wood cubes, but I kind of like the rounded shape of these. They're almost shaped like a die. And I think it gives you a little bit more rounded edge, you know, because snowmans are normally round, but I like the kind of square take on it. It's kind of fun. So I'm just painting the base and all of the wood cubes. I want to make sure everything is white. I'm only going to do 1 coat. I don't care if a little bit of the wood comes through. It'll give it a little bit of a rustic vibe. And I also make a little bit of white around the edges to make it look like there's a little frosting coming down there on that wood slice. For the snowman face, it couldn't be easier. I'm just using a black Sharpie, and I do 2 dots for the eyes and 5 dots for the smile and 3 dots for buttons. I'm using a Sharpie instead of paint pens because this is such a small detailed project. I don't want any bleeding or anything like that. And I picked these Sharpies up at Dollar Tree as well. I do orange for a cute little carrot nose just by doing little lines, making it smaller towards the right. Then I went outside to get some twigs. As you can see, they're wet. So I went out there in the wet soil searching for some little teeny tiny sticks. And I was able to find some. Since he's so small, he needs some really small little arms. So I'm going to cut them down about the same length. I think that looks about right. And simply going to attach them with hot glue. They're so small that I think they'll stay put. I do just make sure that my hot glue sets up before I start on the other side. I don't want that falling off. And I'm also going to add a lot more fun little snowman details to him to really make him special. And this one, as you can see, I'm kind of tilting them up a little bit. I think it looks a little bit better when the little sticks point up a little bit instead of straight out. Just making sure that hot glue is set up on those. And then we can decorate him further. For the scarf, I'm going to use red and black, like a gingham or buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to see how long I need it to be. Now, this is too wide since this is so small, this little snowman. So what I did was I just cut the ribbon in half, making a skinny ribbon. And it did fray a little bit, but that's okay. It's going to kind of give it the look of a scarf. I just take off any of the fraying that was on there, and I wrap that between the head and the body of the snowman. And I want to wrap it around like a traditional scarf. So I pulled it like a little shorter on this side. I'm going to attach it with a little hot glue right here, kind of on his little snowman shoulder, making it go down and not to the side. I wrap that around his neck all the way. I'm going to attach it with a little hot glue here and in the back, to make it go exactly where I want it to be. And then I want it to kind of go straight down in the back. And this one, I want to make sure it kind of goes straight down here in the front too. So add a little bit more hot glue here to the side just to make sure it hangs exactly the way I want it. And he's looking so cute. I think that red and black plaid is going to look perfect with the black hat that we painted for the snowman. Now, I wanted to give it a little bit of snowy texture. To do that, I'm using some of the Dollar Tree Epsom salt and just school glue. So easy to do this. I just want to make the base of it a little bit snowier. So I just put some piles of school glue around here. And then I'm going to sprinkle that with Epsom salt. Be sure to put something down. This does get a little bit messy. And I didn't know Dollar Tree had Epsom salt either that or I didn't remember, but I was glad to find it there because I think it makes a perfect snow. Especially when combined with glue, it really gives you a slushy look. So I did that along the base of the snowman to look like he is standing in snow. And then I'm also going to add a little bit to his body, like in between the different sections here, a little bit there, a little bit over here, just to look like he has some snow on him. And you know what? You can even add some to the sticks, a little bit here. You know how like kind of snow piles up on things, but only a little bit? That's what I was going for with him. I think that looks really cute. I do plan to add a little bit more snow to his hat as well. It is dry. I did go over the inside of it too to make sure the brim of his hat on the underside is black too. And then we're just going to attach that to the snowman hat with a little bit of hot glue. And I've always wanted to craft something with these scarecrow hats from the Dollar Tree. I've never used them for a scarecrow, but they make a perfect snowman hat. Again, I want some snow piled up on his hat, so I add a little school glue to that. Just sprinkling the Epsom salt and kind of making it like drip down his hat too. I think that looks cute. And maybe a little snow over here too. So this snowman may be small, but he has tons of charm and details, and I absolutely love how he turned out. He's so cute. So again, I used scarecrow hat, one of the little wood block packages from the Dollar Tree, and one of the wood coaster like ornaments from the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree as well. And a little bit of ribbon there for his scarf. I love him. I think he's so charming and cute. I'm going to show you how to use supplies from the Dollar Tree to make some really cute Grinch DIYs for your Christmas decor. So for the first one, I'm going to make a Grinch snowman. So these are the new stackable snowmans they have at Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree Plus, they're $5 and they're really big. So you're going to get 3 of these and they all like kind of pop together. So it's a snowman. But I wanted to do something a little different with mine and see if I can make mine into a Grinch for the Grinch movie because that is one of our favorite Christmas movies. I actually got these in Orlando. I was so excited. We were there for my son's 20th birthday, and I was so happy to be able to find these. I also got the Christmas tree one, but I haven't found the present one yet. Now, this is some Grinch fur that I actually found on Amazon. It is the 4x100 inch roll, and this is a QR code right here that will take you to the Amazon link to order it. It is my affiliate link if you want to get some, but I've heard that Walmart also has some, maybe in a skinnier version, kind of Grinch garland. So I just start right here at the bottom, and I'm going to start gluing this, just attaching it with hot glue. The very bottom was the easiest because it was the flattest just to kind of wrap straight around. But anytime I did have any gaps in it, I did try to put some hot glue there just to make sure that it's nice and tight against the bottom of the snowman. The Grinch fur cost $12.49 with like free Amazon Prime shipping. So that was the biggest cost to this project, but it is absolutely perfect Grinch fur. Look how crazy and cool it looks. I'm going to stop here now that I've went all the way around and attach this here to the back. I kind of thought I had a little bit more on that roll, but I ended up using the whole roll just on this one project. And so for the next Grinch project, I will show you how to DIY some Grinch fur using something from the Dollar Tree. So for the second row, I went up to about here. I didn't want too big of a gap between the 2 rows. And it's okay to have a gap on the top because the fur from the next section of the snowman will come down and kind of cover that part. Now it did get a little bit looser coming around here because it kind of goes in a little bit more here on the top. And so I just kind of gathered it together, used hot glue to try to keep it tight against that, and I'm just going to go all the way around. So this bottom section of the snowman definitely took the most amount of a Grinch fur. And I'm just going to finish this row off. Now, for the next section, of the snowman. I'm going to be doing the Grinch fur, also a scarf to kind of make it look like, you know, he's dressed up as Santa Claus. I want to do kind of a Grinch Santa. And then I'm also going to need some for his face. So this is the second section. It's already got like a built-in like scarf, but it's like made out of plastic. So I kind of want to add like a cloth one since I'm already adding the fur and stuff to the Grinch. So this is when I was trying to figure out if I had enough. Since I am going to be adding the scarf, I don't really need to add any of the fur where the scarf is going to be. But if I wrap that around one time on that middle section, I do have one piece left that is long enough to do at least the face of our snowman, and I think we can make that work. So this is what it looks like so far. You just pop the little pieces together. They just kind of pop together like containers. And I'm just going to start by kind of like fluffing that up to see if that will work, and it totally does. Now for this row, if you might want to paint the buttons and the scarf if you notice that you can see it through your fur. Mine wasn't too bad, and so I just kind of left it as is. So I just cut out a piece. It's going to go right underneath where the scarf is there, and then go down towards that middle section. And this is all the fur I have left, but it's enough for the face of the snowman, especially since he's going to be wearing a Santa Claus hat. And I'm so glad I decided to make this snowman a Grinch snowman. I think it's so much fun. It's definitely one of our favorite Christmas movies, and my son is going to love this when he comes home for Thanksgiving vacation. And so for this section, I just started again on the back, and I'm just wrapping the Grinch fur all the way around. That's about how far one piece will go on this middle section. And I can just cover the scarf part with our DIY scarf that I'm going to make. I do want it to kind of look a little bit like Santa scarf, like red plush material to go with the Santa hat that we're going to put on top. And so to do that, I'm actually just going to use a second Santa hat that I got at the Dollar Tree to DIY a scarf. I haven't been able to find those red plush scarves with the little white pom-poms on the end this year. I don't know why. Somebody must be buying them all from my stores because I haven't been able to find any of those. But that would totally work too, and it would be easier than what I ended up doing. So this is just a Santa hat. I am just peeling back the cuff there so I can cut a strip right here. I thought maybe if I just cut like a round strip here on the bottom, I could just put that over for the first layer of the scarf. And it did work, but it was a little bit of a tight fit. And so I did have to kind of put it together like piece by piece, but I was trying to try it on. Kind of shed a little bit, cutting the hat like this onto my fur there. But that's okay. That's what lint rollers are for. So I just cut out a strip that's wide enough to cover like that plastic scarf and that little section of white that's underneath of it there that doesn't have any fur. That's when I realized I was going to have to kind of take it apart and do it like section by section. But I'm probably going to need more too because you're going to need like the ends of the scarf to hang down. So I can go from the back to the front just like that. And then I will do like a separate section in the front to make it look like a knotted scarf. So I want that seam to be in the back where you're not going to be able to really see it. And I just make sure that there's no gap. I don't want to see any of that plastic here. So I just make sure that my fabric is overlapping it a bit and just kind of straightening that up. And it's going to go all the way to like that section, that little bump out there. For the scarf, but I also have to clean up some of that mess from this. And I continue hot gluing that all the way around here. And then I had cut a second strip there out of my hat because I was going to need more material to make it look like a little knotted scarf here. So I'm going to take that, just kind of rip out the seam on this one as well on both sides, and then we can just kind of make two sections like it is a longer scarf that's kind of tied and knotted over. And doing it like this, one section at a time, makes it lay a little bit flatter against the Grinch snowman anyway. I'm just trying to cut two strips about the same width. So One can be like a knotted one, and one could be like going out the back like that. I think that'll look pretty good. I didn't want to cover up too much of his fur, but I did want to give him a Christmas vibe there for his scarf. Like, I didn't want to give him the full Santa suit that he wears like in the movie, but definitely a Santa hat and a Santa scarf. I did think about putting like a white pom-pom on the ends of this, but I kind of liked it just as is, and I think it really does kind of look like a scarf once I get it attached. I hot glue the top one like that one to kind of fold over the top one, and that is the middle section of the Grinch. We're not going to do any arms on this one. It's just going to be a Grinch snowman, and so I'm just going to go ahead and pop that right in the bottom section, and then just kind of fluff all the fur to try to cover up the area here that doesn't have any fur. And the fur was long enough that it was pretty easy to do. And you really want your Grinch fur to be kind of messy anyway. It's going to give it more of a Grinch look. Now for the top part of the Grinch snowman, this is all I have, but I think it's going to be enough because it's going to cover his cute little snowman face there and the sides. He's going to be wearing a Santa hat from the Dollar Tree, so that is going to go down and cover the back of it where there's no fur. So I was able to make it with just one roll. I did think that, it's kind of hard to estimate how much you're going to need for something. I really thought that I was going to have extra fur, but it is a pretty big snowman. So this is another Dollar Tree Santa hat. We're just going to slide that over his head, and if I pull it down all the way in the back like that, it will cover that plastic section and still expose his face. So little hot glue to attach the Santa hat right here in front. And we're also going to be DIYing his cute little Grinch face on here too. And then I just glue down the back, trying to cover up all the plastic that might be exposed. Just like that. He's looking super cute. Now, I went ahead and measured. I don't have a lot of room for a Grinch face, but I designed a printable, and I will include a link to this free printable in the description of today's video. Basically, I just want the eyes. The rest of it, I'm going to put together with some string. So I definitely wanted them to have yellow eyes, and the only way I could think to really make them look accurate, especially on the fur, is to print them out. So I just printed this out on cardstock. It's just going to make it a little bit durable and easier to work with. And the trickiest part of the eyes was trying to get like the little eyelashes on there too. But I thought that would be a fun feature. The rest of the Grinch face features are really small black lines. And so I thought that would be really hard to cut out of paper. So we're actually going to be making those out of string. So there's his eyes. I went ahead and attached them with a little bit of hot glue. The hot glue on the fur was a little tricky and a little messy. So for the rest of the face, I do switch it up to tacky glue. I found it was just easier to work with on the faux fur. But there's his glowing yellow Grinch eyes. I thought those were definitely key for him. Now I wanted some black string. I have this black macrame cord, and it is a black string, but it's still kind of too thick. So I'm going to unwind it into 3 pieces like you would kind of unwind rope to give me some black string. You could also use black yarn for this if that's all that you can find. What I want to do is do that big Grinchy smile, and I have it there on that printout for inspiration. Just a great big smile, about as big as I can get it on his face. And then I'm just going to use tacky glue to attach it. The great thing about the fur on his face is it can kind of overlap some of these facial features a little bit, and it makes it look even cuter. So great big Grinchy grin here. Just gluing down kind of one section at a time and trying to make sure it gets that same shape as my inspiration face there. Now, they also have the little like cheek lines here for his big Grinchy grin. So I'm going to cut down a couple pieces to kind of represent those. And this macrame cord does kind of fray a little bit, which kind of gives them a little bit, some of the wrinkles too. I'm trying to shape it a little bit, kind of like the picture. Just some like big wrinkles there on the side of his face. I wish that the snowman face was a little taller to do the Grinch face. I felt like it was a little short, but I was able to fit all the features in that I wanted to. So I just did the same thing there to the other side. He does have this little tiny section of his smile that kind of goes up here. So I cut a really small piece of the macrame cord and put that there as well. And then he had a cute little Grinch nose. So I'm also going to build that with the string. I just put some tacky glue right there in the middle. And then I just start going around in circles until I kind of get that little like upside triangular, like kind of an animal nose there for our Grinch. And then I can't forget his crazy eyebrows. So I'm going to cut 2 more pieces to do his eyebrows and kind of have them a little bit almost angry looking, like the Grinch eyebrows, one on each side. He's looking so Grinchy and cute. I absolutely love this DIY, and it was such a fun idea of something to do with these new snowmen from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to be DIYing the Christmas tree. I really hope I can find the Christmas presents because I would like to DIY them too. They're like 3 presents that stack. For $5, it is a really large piece, and I think it's a really good deal. So there he is, our little Grinchy face. I love the way he turned out. And now it's time to put it together. So I am just going to pop that on. I do want to make sure that the fluff there kind of doesn't get caught in the gap when I snap it on. So I kind of just push that up out of the way and put that on my snowman and pop it in. I was really careful not to interfere with any of the connecting pieces. But this is how he turned out. Isn't he fantastic? Our little Grinch snowman. I cannot wait to decorate with him this season. I think that Grinch fur is so fun. I've always wanted to get some of that. And so this was a great way to use it. And here is a picture from a distance. I love him. I also have another new Grinch DIY, but I'm completely out of green fur now. So I had to try to improvise and see if we can make some Grinch fur with something from the Dollar Tree. So we're going to be using one of the little gnome stockings from the Dollar Tree. I just went ahead and pulled the beard off. It does kind of leave you with some red fuzz here on the back. I didn't really want to melt anything, so I didn't use my heat on that. So I don't think that'll get in the way. I wanted to see if I could dye it with some acrylic paint. So you could use the glow in the dark one that they have from the Dollar Tree now. But I ended up using parsley. I thought this was a perfect Grinchy color. So I just squirt some acrylic paint and I mix it with some hot water just from the tap to dissolve that acrylic paint to make a DIY dye. Now this worked really well, but it did get the beard really wet. So I just laid it on my paper plate there and it was soaking through. So I kind of just sponged that with a paper towel and turn it over, make sure I have good coverage everywhere. It looks pretty good. So I'm just going to wring it out and see if it's still super green. I thought it could use another coat. So I dip it and wring it out again. It's looking the perfect color of Grinchy green. This is actually going to be a Grinch hand because I want to do a Grinch arm wreath. I've seen these done and I wanted to give it a go and see if I could come up with one. And I was really impressed with how this turned out. So it's really wet. I'm just using a comb that I use for crafting and combing it. I combed it up and down. I combed it side to side. That helped a little bit, but as you can see, it's still super wet. I did use my heat gun on and off, and then I would go back and comb it. Combing it's really important because you don't want the paint to make the fibers sticky. You still want it to be soft in the end. So that's why I went ahead and dyed this first, so I can kind of set that aside while I DIY the Grinch arm wreath. I'm going to be using one of the Christmas ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and a stocking and a candy cane wreath form. I think this is going to be enough red fabric to cover the arm like a Grinch arm in a Santa suit. I just kind of bent mine out a little bit to make it look less like a candy cane and more like an arm. And then I think there's going to be enough red plush material just using one of these stockings. And I think I actually got this stocking at the Dollar Tree because they are $1 compared to $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, so even cheaper. I'm just going to go ahead and cut my stocking in half. And I'm going to kind of go with the shape of it. So this will definitely cover this part of the stocking. If you had like a red plush ribbon, you could just wrap the entire candy cane too. I wanted to try to leave mine all together as one piece as much as I can, just to make the transitions a little bit easier. So I just kind of lay this, cut off a little bit of material there that might be too much. And while I'm don't have anything attached, I just took some twine and made an easy hanger right here just by tying a loop and a knot because I won't be able to get to that area later. I also cut a little slit there in the fabric from the stocking that I can use so the hanger will be able to poke out. And I'm just going to kind of gather all the material like that. Now, I try to hot glue it to the wreath form and not to the stocking itself because I didn't want the hot glue to come through on the other side of that plush material on the stocking and be visible. And I just kind of glue it to itself, just kind of gathering whatever's kind of closest and gluing it to the wire wreath form. This was a really easy way to cover this, and his entire arm should be like red, like he's wearing a Santa suit. So this will work. And I'm going to do like that kind of iconic Grinch arm where his little furry fingers is holding an ornament. I think this is going to look so cute on my front door for Christmas this year. And then this section is not quite long enough to cover this, so I'm going to have to piece it together, but I did only use one stocking to cover the entire candy cane wreath. And I had been looking for this candy cane wreath form this season. I was so glad I was able to finally find it. I found it at my smallest Dollar Tree, go figure, the one that's not a Dollar Tree Plus. So I just cut a strip here and hot gluing that. I tried to leave the rest of the material as intact as I can so that I'll be able to cover this bottom section. I am going to have to kind of piece it together though, I think. I'm going to cut this seam off so I kind of have a strip of the material. And I'm overlapping it ever so slightly. I want it to kind of be seamless. And since it's fuzzy, I think that it will work pretty well. But I just had to do like 2 rows here to finish it off at the bottom. And it's going to be like a long, spindly, red Grinch arm. And I've seen these made like a million different ways. I definitely wanted to try one of these. I've had this on my to-do list for the last couple of years and I'm finally making it. So I love how it turned out. Now I did let this dry and it's still wet. So I thought about putting it in my clothes dryer, but I didn't want to get any paint in there. So I'm going to try to get it as dry as I can with my heat gun and then just combing it out each time, kind of blotting it on a paper towel as well. And then I used my hand for reference, and I used my right hand, but I should have used my left hand. You'll see why in a minute. But this reminded me of kindergarten, tracing out my hand on the back of that gnome beard. I tried to kind of go just around each one of my fingers, and I'm going to cut out as little fabric as possible, but just kind of slits in between each finger so that we can DIY a Grinch hand. Now, I should have done my left hand. You'll see why in a minute. I didn't really think about it, but I was able to fix it. Now, this is just the Dollar Tree hardware wire. It's a little bit thicker than the floral wire, but not much. But I think it'll be enough for this. And I'm cutting one for the thumb and one for each one of the fingers. This is going to let me be able to mold the hand so it looks like a Grinch hand, like clasping the ornament. And then I just attach the wire to the back of the fur with some hot glue, going from the base of the hand all the way up the finger. And you could do 2 gnome beards and kind of put them back to back, but you're not going to be able to really see the back. So I'm fine with only having one set of it, kind of almost like a glove, right? Then I take glue and put it on each side of the wire and fold it over the wire like that. It's going to give me a long, fluffy Grinch finger, and it's going to be moldable. So I do the same thing here with the second one, just gluing that to itself around the wire. And I continued that on. The only time that red stuff got in the way from the stocking was this part, but I was able to kind of sandwich it all in there. You can't really see it too much, but I did try to trim it away from the edges. You might want to use some heat on that, your heat gun, and try to get all that off so you don't have to worry about it. But I did that for all of my fingers and for the side of my hand. And this is what I have so far. Since there's wire in it, I can mold it and then have little Grinchy hand. I think it turned out really fun. Now I do want it to like bend down and hold it. Now it's going to be coming from the right, and so I should have had my hand backwards, so I'm going to reverse the hand by making that my thumb over on this side, just by trimming some of them to make the fingers more dimensional. And I also kind of trim between the fingers a little bit. I want it pinching the ornament like this, holding on to it, and it has to be going this direction. I also want it to look furry though, so I gave it a few more brushes with my comb to fluff out that faux fur. And I think that's going to work. So let's go ahead and attach it to our little candy cane wreath form for a little Grinch's arm. My hands are not very big, but you know, the gnome beard wasn't very big either, but I think it's the proper scale for this size arm. So I just use a little hot glue and I glue that right over the red fur that we attached to the candy cane. Now this was also from that stocking. I saved the white plush part, and that can be the cuff of the Santa suit. So I just cut out a strip of that. It's going to kind of cover where both of those start and stop. And I just attach it back here on the back with some hot glue. Super easy way to do that part of the Santa suit. This does kind of like attract everything in that material. So I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. And then this is the ornament. It's got like swirls on the side of it. It's bright red and I think it's going to be perfect. It's a large ornament. I just use the actual ornament hanger like that. And I'm going to kind of put that in his fingers like he is holding on to the ornament for that classic Grinch pose like that. And I was trying to think if I needed to wire it or anything, but I don't think so. I think if I just glue the fingers together, the finger to the thumb, that it will be able to hold it. The ornament's not super heavy. And let it dangle down just like that. This was such an easy wreath form to do for Christmas, and it goes great with the Christmas movie theme for the movie The Grinch. Let me show you how this looks hanging up. I love it. The stocking actually worked pretty well. It gave me plenty of material to cover my entire like little Grinch arm. And my faux fur, my faux Grinch fur actually turned out really good as well. Isn't that so sweet? I love it. I've always wanted to make one of these and I'm so glad that I finally crafted one. I really hope that you got lots of Christmas crafting inspiration in today's crafting marathon video. I had so much fun putting all of these DIYs together for you. You'll have to let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below. And you can find me at Crafty Beach on YouTube on all social media. Enjoy the final reveal.
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay. Merry Christmas, honey. Yeah. The snowman's dusting off his hat, putting on the show for everybody, to give them a smile that lasts another year. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Christmas, baby. The snow is laying 2 feet deep. Now wish upon a falling star, so all your secret dreams can come true. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December is, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Ooh, yeah. There's room at the table for big and for small. All the fire is popping, the chestnuts are cracking, yeah. Merry Christmas, baby. There's something that happens when something that happens when December ends, when December ends, yeah. Oh, it's Merry Christmas, baby. Merry Christmas, baby. It's Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light, while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, we're chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town. Later we meet under the mistletoe, while Santa's busy saying ho ho ho. We're feeling jolly, eating Christmas cake, and then we go skating on the frozen lake, saying hi to every friendly face, and later we warm up by the fireplace. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Merry Christmas Day. A Merry Christmas Day. Oh, yeah. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as we walk from house to house.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. I also want to give a huge thank you to my Crafty Beach Bum members. Thank you so much to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, Live Another Day, Maren Christensen, Adrian Brult, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, and Donna Tanner. I really appreciate all of you for being a member of my channel here. Every little bit helps, and if you would like to become a Crafty Beach Fun member too, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video. It's $4.99 a month. You're going to get early ad-free access to my YouTube videos, and you're free to cancel at any time. Now, would you like more Christmas Dollar Tree DIYs? I've got you covered. Check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting and Merry Christmas.